Hiya Five, it's Miss Harris here. Welcome back to what would be term 5. I hope that you have all had a healthy and a safe and an enjoyable half-term break. I hope you're all ready to get back to doing some home learning. Your maths task today is some revision, and this revision is going to help you prepare for our new learning, which starts tomorrow. So this opportunity will really help us. If we can practice converting improper fractions into mixed numbers, then we will hopefully be able to apply this to our new learning for the rest of the week. So we're going to recap on how to convert improper fractions into mixed numbers. So I hope you're having a little bit of a think. What is an improper fraction? And what is a mixed number? So hopefully we won't need to go over this for too long, but I know that my brain can sometimes be a little bit hazy after eating all those chocolate Easter eggs and other things that we've had over the Easter break. So let's just do a little bit of a recap before we move on. Improper fractions look like this. They are fractions where the numerator is bigger, larger or greater than the denominator. They are fractions which show us that the amount equals more than one whole. Okay, fractions where the numerator is the same as the denominator means that the fraction is equal to 1. So if I had 6 sixths, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I would have one whole rectangle shaded in. Same for 5 fifths, 9 ninths, 100 hundredths. Where the numerator and the denominator is the same, these equal one whole. Okay. Where the numerator, if we look over here, where the numerator is smaller or lesser than the denominator, we have less than 1. We have less than 1. Because we know that 10 tenths is one whole, and if we only have 7 tenths, we don't have the whole amount. If I was to draw that really quickly, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10. If I was to colour in 7, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, you can see I haven't coloured in the whole amount. We have less than 1. Okay, so when we go back to our improper fractions up here, I apologise for my very poor camera work today. Where we've got our numerator, which is greater than our denominator, we have an amount more than 1. And what we're going to do today is we're going to take our improper fractions and we're going to convert them into mixed numbers. Now if I take my camera over to here, mixed numbers look like this. They are a mixture of integers, which are whole numbers, and fractions which are equal to less than 1. So you can have 3 and 2 quarters, 1 and 1/8, 7 and 5 ninths, 4 and 2 thirds, 5 and 3 sixths. They are a mixture of a whole number with a fraction. They can often be more than 1. They are always more than 1. Okay, so we're going to see if we can convert mixed numbers back into improper fractions and improper fractions into mixed numbers. Okay, let's have a go. My camera work is on point today, isn't it? Sorry about that. Okay, let's start with 11 fifths. Okay, this is called an improper fraction because our numerator is larger than our denominator. We know 5 fifths equals 1, and we've got more than 5 fifths. If we were to have 5 questions in a test and we got all 5 right, we would get one whole test paper right. We would get 100%. Okay, now we know we've got more than that here. So I'm going to draw it out to begin with to show you what 11 fifths looks like, and then that might help us convert it into a mixed number. Okay, so if I was to draw 11 fifths, I look at my denominator. That tells me how many parts my whole needs to be separated into. So my denominator is 5. So if I draw a rectangle, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I need to colour in 11 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now that's not 11, is it? I've still got a little bit more to colour in. So I'm going to draw another rectangle. And I have to separate this into 5 parts because I'm looking at fifths. I'll keep colouring in. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Therefore, I need to draw another rectangle. I always split my rectangles by the number in my denominator. Always. Okay, now I've coloured in 10 parts so far. I need to colour in one more. 11. That is what 11 fifths looks like. Now I can see here I have one whole rectangle coloured in. I have a second whole rectangle coloured in. This third rectangle, I don't have a whole rectangle coloured in here. So you could say I have 2 whole coloured in and 1/5 coloured in here. So my answer would be 2 and 1/5. So that is one way of converting improper fractions into mixed numbers. You could draw it out and colour in the right number of fifths. Now another way you could find the answer is by a division calculation. Now 11 fifths is the same as 11 divided by 5. Remember we talked about in class how fractions are kind of like the division symbol. We've got our numerator, our fraction line here, and our denominator. So another way that we could find the answer is by division. We could do 11 divided by 5. Now one way we could do this is by drawing our bus stop like this. How many 5s go into 11? So we know that's 2. And how many's left over? So 2 5s are 10, which means there's 1 left over. So we could write 2 remainder 1, which is the same as 2 and 1 out of 5 remaining. Our remainder is 1 and our divisor is 5. So we could say 2 remain with 1/5 remaining. Now we could write this as a decimal as an extra challenge, and the extra challenge would mean that our answer would be 2.2. And that's for some of you today. That's your extra challenge, is to see if you can convert any of these into decimals. Okay, let's go to our next question. I want you to have a go at doing this with me. Okay, 14 thirds. 14 thirds. How can we write that as a mixed number? Okay, let's quickly draw it out. I'm going to draw some rectangles, and our denominator tells us that those rectangles need to be split into 3 parts. Okay, 3, 6, 9 parts, 12, 15. I have 15 thirds there. 5 rectangles each split into 3. That's 5 lots of 3, 15. So I think I'm going to stop drawing now because I only need 14 thirds. So let's colour in 14 thirds. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So we can see that we have 1, 2, 3, 4 whole rectangles coloured in, and on our 5th rectangle we have 2 thirds coloured in. So our answer is 4 and 2 thirds. Now another way we could solve this problem is by dividing. So we could do 14 divided by 3. So if we were to draw our bus stop method again, how many 3's go into 14? 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. Oh, we've gone too far. 3, 6, 9, 12. That's 4. How many's left over? 13, 14. There's 2 left over. So we would say the answer is 4 and 2 out of 3 remaining. Okay, which is the same as what we got over here. And those of you who are converting that to decimals, the answer would be 4.66 recurring. Okay, so let's have a go and now converting mixed numbers into improper fractions. Now, if you need to go over that again, one good thing about online teaching is that you can actually pause me and you can rewind at the start and play it again. It's much better than actual me teaching in a classroom, because it means you can ask me to repeat it as many times as you like. So if you need to go over that again, even though I've wiped the board clean, you could always go back and listen to that explanation again. Okay, so that was an explanation how to turn or convert. I do apologise for my camera work. That was an explanation as to how to convert improper fractions into mixed numbers. We are now going to do some converting of mixed numbers into improper fractions. We're going to flip our LO on its head and we're going to do the inverse, shall we say. Okay, so let's say we have 2 1/4. That's a mixed number. And we need to convert that into an improper fraction. How are we going to do that? Well, what we're going to look at first is our whole number, our integer, which is 2. Now we then look at the denominator of our fraction, which is 4. So we are dealing with fourths or quarters. Okay, now we know that 4/4 equals 1. So we must have 2 lots of 4/4 because we have 2, which means 4/4 add 4/4 equals 8/4. 8/4 equals 2 whole. We then have this extra quarter here. So we have 8/4 plus another quarter, which equals 9/4. Okay, another way of solving that is we multiply our integer by our denominator and then add our numerator, our remaining fraction. So in this case we would say 2 times 4 equals 8 plus our numerator, which is 9, and our denominator stays the same. So what we're going to have a practice at now is another mixed number, and let's see if we can get the answer converted into an improper fraction. Okay, let's have 3 2/5 this time. Okay, so our denominator is 5. We are working with fifths. So 5/5 we know is 1 whole, and we have 3. So we have 1 whole, add 1 whole, add 1 whole. How many fifths is that? 5, 10, 15. So 3 whole is the same as 15 fifths, and then we have to add our remaining 2 fifths, which give us 17 fifths. So that is one way of converting mixed numbers into improper fractions. The other way, as I said just now, is we multiply our whole number, our integer, by our denominator. 3 times 5 is 15. We then add our numerator, which is 17, and we keep our denominator constant. Okay, so there's 2 ways there that you can convert mixed numbers into improper fractions. Now, one really useful tip today is you could pause the screen, or you could screenshot it and have that in front of you as you're working out some of your questions today, as a little reminder as to how you can convert mixed numbers into improper fractions. Same can be said for when I turned improper fractions into mixed numbers. If you were to pause the video at any point, you can screenshot it, you can copy it down into your book as a reminder, and that can be your teaching tool today to help you answer some of the questions. Okay, now there are 8 questions to complete today, and there are also some challenges for those of you who would like to extend your learning a little bit further. And all of the answers can be found at the Year 5 WordPress site. So if you would like your answers marked, you can mark them yourself today. And every other day this week, I will upload the answers to the Year 5 WordPress website. Ooh, sorry about that. And you can mark your answers so you can get some instant feedback. Now, we have done this in class already. Oh, so you will have some memory of doing this in class, but tomorrow and for the rest of the week we are going to be doing some new learning, so it'd be really helpful if you could practice these skills today, ready to apply them to your learning for this week. And like I said, the answers will be there for you this week for you to mark your work. And of course, the Year 5 team are at the other end of an email if you'd like to drop us an email at any point, either to show us your work or to ask us some questions. We can do that for you. Okay, so I hope that has helped, and I hope you are able to access your maths learning today, and I will have another video for you to watch tomorrow. See you soon. Good luck. Bye.